and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to add secure payment options to your app using the payment gateway feature in Clappia. You can use this feature wherever payment collection from your end users are required. For example, course or event registrations, service requests, licenses, permits, etc. Let's see how to set it up. In my Clappia dashboard, I'll select this course registration app that I've created earlier. Now this is a very simple app that I've created. This course registration app captures the full name, email. A user can select their course type. They can also select the currency. And once it is selected, the amount for the course shows up. I've used the calculations and logic block to automatically capture the amount based on the course type and the currency. Now here I'd like to add an option for the end user to make the payment. So for that, I'll go to Design App. You can see all the earlier fields. And over here, I'll click on Add Field and select Payment Gateway. Do note that the Payment Gateway feature is only available for the professional or enterprise plans. So if you wish to use this feature, do check out our pricing page. It will be linked in the description. This block can be configured on the right-hand panel. First, I'll give it a name. Let's say Click to Pay, because in the app, it'll appear as a button. Next comes Payment Gateway. Click on the drop-down and select Razorpay. Currently, only Razorpay is available as an option for Payment Gateway. In the future, we might add more options for Stripe or PayPal or other options. So select Razorpay. Next, we have currency. If only one currency is applicable, you can simply type it in. Let's say if it is USD, USD will be typed in inside quotes. Or if it's INR, it'll be written like so. However, if you require the user to select different types of currencies, you can pull that dynamically over here with the use of other field variables. So over here, you can see Select Currency field. This is a drop-down in which I have listed different currencies as options. So I'll just open the same map in another tab for you to see. Okay, so now over here, I'll click on Select Currency, and just like you've seen earlier in App Home, the options are listed as INR and USD. I can add more if I want to. Now going back to the Payment Gateway configuration. So to pull up this field over here, I can simply type in @ and you can see a list of all the fields in this app. So I'll click on Select Currency and that's it. So any option that a user selects will be captured over here. The same goes for amount. If you have a standard fee, you can simply type in that amount over here inside quotes. Let's say it is 500, so it'll be written like so. Else, if you want to pull it up dynamically again, like currency, you can have another field in your app that shows different amounts. So here I'll type in @ amount. So it'll pull up the value from this field. Next, we have Razorpay key ID and Razorpay key secret. These two values will be available for you once you sign up to Razorpay. So I'll open up a new tab and go to razorpay.com. If you're a first-time user, you can sign up or log in. Once you sign up, they will ask you for a few details. Fill up the form and then go to your settings page. Once you go there, go to account settings and then click on API keys. In this, you will have your key ID, which will be used for your payment gateway configuration, and under the action column, click on generate live key, where you will get your key secret value. Once you've done that, enter the Razorpay key ID here along with the key secret. Now that I've added it, I'll click on save. Alright, let's see how this works. I'll go to App Home. The Payment Gateway feature has been added over here in this app. Now, if I were to simply click on this, it'll give me an error message because since I've not added a standard amount in this configuration, it takes the value from this field. It gives me the error message. So let's say I make a selection. The amount comes up and I can click on Pay. Once you do so, a pop-up window will appear to make the payment. Initially, you may be asked to enter your contact details. Enter it to continue. Once you do so, select the payment option to continue making the payment. Now, let's say the payment is not done. You will get a message that says payment failed, please try again. However, a user can still make a submission in this app without payment. If you want to restrict your users to make submissions only if the payment is done, for that, in the Design app, for the Payment Gateway configuration, at the bottom on the right panel, we have the option required. Enable this and the user will no longer be able to make submissions if the payment is unsuccessful. So I'll click on Save to check it out. Okay, so now that I've made this a required field, first I'll select a currency and the course type to get the amount, and I'll click on this button. Now if I close this, it says payment failed, and if I click on Submit, I get this error. So now this ensures that your users will have to make the payment in order to make a submission. Now if I select a different currency, let's say for USD, a different pop-up window will appear. It just looks a little different. Now over here at the top, you can see the name Clappia as well as this icon. You can change it according to your organization. You can have your organization's logo and your organization's name over here. For that, going back to Design app, click on your payment gateway field and on the right panel, go to Advanced. Here we have Razorpay company name and the public link of company's logo. So I'll give in some example name. And for the company logo, you can use a public link. So let's say, for example, you have a website. You have the logo over here. So I can simply right click on it. Click on copy image address. Go back to the app. And over here, I will paste the link. I'll save this and go back to app home. Now, as you can see, the company name that I've added has appeared here as well as the logo. Now, you can also use validation blocks for a message to appear over here that validates if the payment is successful or not. It is already validated over here. However, if you do not want to show your users just this error message and you want to highlight it a little more, you can use a validation block. Or you can also use the text HTML and embedding block. So let's say I use a validation block. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because with the payment gateway feature, you get an additional variable with it. So I'll just configure this block on the right panel. The type of validation I'll select is custom. This block's explanation is covered in detail in another video. If you want to check it out, it'll be linked in the description. Now after selecting the type of validation, I'll give in the validation condition. So if the payment is successful, I will need to pull up this field's detail. So I'll type in @ click to pay. Now over here you can see click to pay status. This variable automatically comes up once you've configured the payment gateway field. So I'll click on it, equals to success. There are only two statuses available for the payment gateway. One is success and the other is error for unsuccessful payments. So for the validation level, since I'm keeping the status as success, I will keep this selection as success as well. For the validation message, I will give in something like successful payment and I'll click on save. I can also give another validation block for unsuccessful payment. So on the right panel, select custom as type of validation. For the validation condition, again I'll pull up the payment gateway field @ click to pay status equals to error. Validation level will be error. And I'll give a validation message, let's say unsuccessful payment, and save this. Now these two blocks will not appear in the app unless the payment is successful or unsuccessful. So I'll go to app home to check it out. I'll select the course type, currency, and I'll click to pay. If it's unsuccessful, let's say I try to make a payment. It says it could not be completed. Now I'll close this. It says unsuccessful payment. Now keep in mind, if you are using validation blocks and you have not enabled the required option for the payment gateway field, it will still not allow your user to make submissions if it is an error. But if the validation appears successful, only then will your users be able to make a submission. So just something to keep in mind. Now let me make a complete submission. I've selected a payment option and I'll click on verify and pay. The payment is successful and the pop-up window will automatically disappear in a couple of seconds. And now you can see the validation block says successful payment as per the status of the payment gateway field. Now I can click on submit to make a submission. You can view all your submissions under the submissions tab. Click on a submission to view all the details on the right panel. Now there is one more option left for the payment gateway field. So in Design app, if I click on this field, on the right panel, I click on Advanced. Here we have display this field if. Now let's say in my app, I would like this particular field to appear only if the currency and the course type is selected. If not, this field should not appear in the app. So here you can give a display condition. You can give logic and conditions similar to spreadsheet. So if you worked with spreadsheets earlier, we have logic and conditions such as if, and, or, etc. We share a similar library, so you can make use of that over here with the use of field variables, which you can see at the top of every field in brackets. So now if I want this field to appear if currency and course type is selected, So I'll use the function and in brackets, pull up the variable name, @course type. It should have some value, so not equals to null, comma, select currency, not equals to null. So basically, this formula means that both course type and the currency should have some value in it for this field to appear. I'll save it. Now, if you're unable to save this block, you can see the save message is not appearing here at the top, which usually it does. This usually means that the secret key has to be entered again. You can get it back in the Razorpay account settings. So I'll just add it. Make sure you keep your key ID and key secret for later users. Okay, now that the changes have been saved, I'll go to App Home to test out the display condition. Now, as you can see, the payment gateway field no longer appears over here, unless I make a selection for both the course type and the currency. Now that I've selected both of them, this appears. Now you can also send out notifications in case of successful or even unsuccessful payments using workflows. If I want to send an email notification for a successful payment to the user, I can make use of the email fields variable. So I'll go to Design App, go to step 3, which is Workflows. I'll click on Add Step and then select the email node. This node can be configured on the right hand panel. If you wish to check this out in detail, its video will be linked in the description. So under email address, either you can type in the user's email ID, or if you have a field to type in the email address, like in this app, I can simply type in @ and select the email field. Next, I'll give in a subject and the body. If you have configured any PDFs, you can enable that option here and then click on Save. Using workflows is not a necessary option. This is just to show you how you can use it. So I'll make a quick submission. Now that the payment has been successful and I've given my own email ID. So once I click on Submit, I will receive the email. So I'll go to my inbox and I've received the email, as you can see here. So in this way, you can add secure payment options to your app using the payment gateway feature in Clappia. If you have any query on how to configure this block or on any other feature in Clappia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can write to us directly to contact@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.